YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Darian. I love to film mommy content on this channel. If you are not new, thank you for coming back to watch my videos. So sorry, I have heartburn. So today is a pregnancy update with baby number 3. This is going to be the first pregnancy update with this baby, and if you haven't watched my last video about where I've been, I'm going to have that video in the cards somewhere so that you can click on that and reference it. But I'm just here to start filming the pregnancy update before I have the baby, because some of you hit me up saying that you were interested in how this pregnancy was going. So today I am 26 weeks and I believe 5 days. I turned 27 weeks on Sunday, so this pregnancy update will essentially be my 26 and 27 week pregnancy update. If you are not familiar with how pregnancy goes, some people track their pregnancy by month or by weeks. Typically around 27 weeks you are entering into your 3rd trimester. So as of Sunday, I will be officially in my 3rd trimester, which I'm very excited about because I'm ready to have this baby. I'm very tired. So, and that's a disclaimer, I'll be out of breath because pregnancy, when you're this far along, does make you winded. So, if you have been following my journey with my last 2 kids, especially my middle child, I had the worst pregnancy with her so far because she had a lot of health complications, and she has a lot of health complications now. I had health complications when I was pregnant with her, so I documented that whole journey. That playlist will be somewhere in the cards or on a suggested video at the end of this video, so you can go ahead and follow that journey. This pregnancy is a lot easier on my body. It reminds me of when I was pregnant with my son, and I had my son in 2018. So I was so convinced that I was pregnant with another boy just because of the symptoms that I'm having, and then I'm not as sick. I was sick a little bit at the beginning, but it was very similar to my son. And yes, I know every pregnancy is different, but like the symptoms resembled the symptoms that I had with him, and that's what I was going off of. I did find out through the blood test ordered by my doctor that I am having another girl. So let me backtrack on and let me tell you how things have been going so far. So I was sitting on a toilet 8 months postpartum with my daughter, and I usually try to use the bathroom before I get in the shower, TMI, but that's what I was doing. And I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm thinking like, I haven't had a period. And I was like, okay, maybe it's because I have been trying to increase my milk supply, hence me, I was breastfeeding my daughter, and I was struggling a little bit more with my milk supply this time around than I did with my son. I was an oversupplier with her. I was just a nuffer. With Zara, sometimes I had to try to supplement with milk because I felt like I wasn't producing enough. Part of it had to do with stress, and in my opinion, because stress will also affect your milk supply. So I was increasing the stimulation of my breast, maybe trying to feed her more, pump more often, pump longer, pump in smaller increments, doing the power pumping, changing the different pumps I was using, taking lactation supplements, like you name it, I was doing everything, but my milk was really suffering. So I'm like, maybe it's because of that. Maybe it's because I'm having breast stimulation, and sometimes when you have stimulation of the breast, it can take away your period. And I say that because it took me 14 months to get a period after I had my son. So with her, I was like maybe 5 or 6 months, I can't remember, but I did get my period back pretty early with her as compared to what I was used to. So I knew I had a period, and I had a period every month after that. So one at the time, I'm sitting on the toilet, I'm like, I haven't had a period in about a month and a half. Thought it was the stimulation of my breast, didn't really think about it, but knowing me, I keep a pack of cheap pregnancy tests from Amazon on hand at all times. And whether it's for me, whether it's for a friend, whether it's for my sister, I don't know, but I keep pregnancy tests on me. So I happened to have them in the bathroom, and I was not in the bathroom that I usually would keep them in at the time, but I had them in the bathroom, and I didn't have a cup to pee in, but I was already naked and I already had peed, and I was like, I really want to take a test, so let me just try to like sit on the toilet and force myself to use it to try to get something on the pee strip. And when I tell you, it was like the smallest drop of pee. When that line popped up so quick, I was like, hold up, I know you lying. I know you lying. I didn't even care if I had somebody in the house or not. I was like just sitting on the toilet. So I finished the bathroom and I ran out to my husband's room that he had for his like man cave, and he had Zara on his shoulder in the rocking chair, just rocking her. She was only 8 months, so she was had her little binky in her mouth. She was going to sleep because I was taking my shower. He was doing his daddy duty, and I was like, Nigga, what is this? And I'm holding up the test, and he's like, he just looked at me like that. I'm like, I'm pregnant. He was like, and I'm like, you trapped me. No, before y'all come for me, I say he trapped me because we avoided pregnancy from Bash to Zara. It's like almost 2 year gap with nothing but being careful. I was not on birth control. So I know we are capable of avoiding or preventing pregnancy, for the lack of better words. And I did not plan this one. And I love her, and every baby is a blessing, don't get me wrong. But I'm very type A, and I plan everything. So when I told him this, he was like, I mean, it is what it is. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. We're going to have to adapt and adjust. But the reason why I was taken aback, because like I said, I planned everything to the T, and I wasn't able to plan this pregnancy. I was only 8 months postpartum, so my body was still recovering. Zara was going through all of her health complications. That was like the beginning of her starting to experience her health complications. And then, you know, I was having some issues with something in my career, and I was trying to manage losing my baby weight. Y'all know I was doing my whole workout routine, and I did not like the place we was living in, so we was just starting the process of buying a house. So like we had a lot on our plates, and I was like, wow. Wow. So, you know, when you're pregnant, you gotta go to doctor's appointments, you gotta change up the way you eat, you gotta, you know, it's a lot you gotta change. And then I was still breastfeeding, I was still nursing because she was only 8 months postpartum. So I usually try to feed them until they're breast milk exclusive until they're a year, which is 12 months. So I had to deal with that stress too, because when you stimulate the breast, it can offer uterine contractions, and they say you can breastfeed and be pregnant, which is fine. I know somebody who did it the whole way through, which is, you know, their own experience. I had to do it because she wasn't 1 yet, and I wasn't experiencing any cramps or anything, but my nipples were very sensitive and tender, because when you're pregnant you have sore nipples and tender nipples. So like I had to deal with that adverse feeling because it was very uncomfortable for me, and I don't like anything touching me. You know, at that point I'm already like touchy, like ugh, but I had to deal with it to, you know, make sure she was fed. But once she turned 12 months, she was weaned off of my breast already, because she more so self-weaned, and I go baby-led weaning, but I kind of guide them. As long as you let them lead the way, sometimes they'll be on your boob forever. So you have to, if it's a, you know, if that's what you want, you have to kind of guide them. So I was guiding them. She was self-weaning anyway, so we made it to getting her off of the breast. So circling back to the pregnancy, so I scheduled a OBGYN appointment, and as y'all know, I changed providers from my last pregnancy, so I had to go through the new insurance that I have and find an OB in my network, all that jazzy stuff. And I didn't want to go to the guy that I seen for my postpartum checkup because I'm like, oh, he's a guy. He might not understand me culturally. So let me try to find somebody that can probably identify with me culturally. So I went with this lady, and it was one of those hole in the wall type clinics. I'm like, okay, it's kind of not my speed of care, but let me see what she about. I waited in a waiting room. I've seen her 3 times. I waited in a waiting room every time for like an hour and a half for her to see me, all of 2 minutes. The first time she saw me, she was asking like basic redundant questions that was already completed on the questionnaire, but it was questions like she wasn't interested. And the part that got me was like, how many kids do you have? I said, this will be my 3rd. How many successful pregnancies? I said, I haven't had a miscarriage or abortion. Like, this is my, I had 2 successful pregnancies. This is my 3rd pregnancy. And she was like, do you know who the father is? And I'm like, yes, I know who the father is. He's my husband. And she was like, well, I had to ask. I'm like, it's, I was really shocked. Well, how she came at me, like she already had this preconceived notion about me, and she don't know me. Like, she didn't care to get to know me. And then she was like, that's great that he's your husband. I was like, he's the only person I've ever been with too. Does that matter too? Like, it's like I really just cocked the attitude on her. But to say the least, I left very unsatisfied, and I was like, whatever. She's not gonna give me what I need. Because I started experiencing sciatica early because my son damaged my hip, and I've had hip pains in every pregnancy so far, and it's gotten worse, and it's mainly focused on my left hip. So fast forward to my next appointment with her, waited an hour and a half. She did I had to call in between because they never did an ultrasound. I'm like, I need to make sure the baby's heart is beating at this point because I never had an ultrasound. I was already like 12 weeks pregnant or something like that. So y'all need to do an ultrasound. So I had to make sure that they ordered the ultrasound. I get there from my ultrasound, and she has an app, and she has this little thing, the ultrasound gun, plugged up to her phone on an app, and was doing my dating ultrasound. I was like, I could buy this app. I could have did my own ultrasound. And then she had to use the phone and do some math. It was like, like, it was so strange. And she was only nice to me because she was training another physician with how she operates in her office. So I complained to the front desk. I was like, I don't really appreciate the level of care that I'm receiving. Like, I don't understand why I got an ultrasound on an app. I'm not understanding why she only see me for like 2-3 minutes when I waited an hour and a half. She's not asking me about any symptoms that I'm experiencing. Nothing. Like, I had, you guys know I had postpartum toxemia. I tried to share that with her. She dismissed it. I told her I had vertigo. She dismissed it. I told her I got hip pain. She dismissed it. And I was like, oh, hell no. I'm not going to go through this again because y'all know I'm traumatized from Zara's birth and then the lack of good care that I received during her pregnancy. So I was like, I'm not going through this again. So I called the insurance. I got switched, and this was all while we're going through the house buying process. Zara being sick, me in the hospital, me in a hotel room with the family. Like, I was going through all of this, and I was like, you know what? I was so stressed out. I lost so much weight that I was physically smaller than I ever have been pre-pregnancy with my son. And before I got pregnant with him, I was like 125 pounds, give or take. I was down to that size at 4 months pregnant with this baby. So I was very stressed out, losing weight, and they switched me providers, and then that new provider was able to get me to one of her really good friends who happened to be an OBGYN, which happened to also be in a network that I'm in. And I saw her almost passed out. My heart rate was off. She was like, you're really like not healthy right now. Like, you need to eat. You're very thin, you're pale, your heart rate's off, your blood pressure is weird. So she got an immediate referral from me to see her friend, the OB, who is my current OB. So I've been seeing this doctor ever since December, and I missed my whole first trimester of like testing and screening. Like, she didn't do that first doctor, she didn't do anything, and I knew it. I was like, this is my 3rd pregnancy. I'm not new to this. I'm pretty privy to like all of the little things that go into being pregnant and all the tests that aligns with each trimester. So why haven't she done any of this when I've requested? And they were like, oh, she's the director at. I'm like, so what? Like, this is my third pregnancy. Stuff should be happening and she ain't did nothing. Excuse my slang, but this is how I talk. So nonetheless, he had to order the blood test, and that's how I found out I was having a girl. And he had to do my pap smear because I wasn't about to let that lady touch me. And he had to catch me up on some stuff. So I missed the whole first trimester of all the important screenings. I was so terrified that the baby's heart wasn't beating. So he was going through, I seen him several times. He had me coming back pretty often because of my history of toxemia, because of my blood pressure, and because I've been like losing a lot of weight and having complications. So I've been seeing him pretty often, and he's keeping an eye on me. I've seen the baby several times on the ultrasound, and it's a real ultrasound machine. It's a clean office. Everyone's really nice. It's just it reminds me of when I was pregnant with my son. It was a great experience. So to say the least, I'm having a great experience so far with my care as compared to my last daughter and my experience with her birth. So that's what's been happening with the pregnancy. I just took my glucose test, which is an hour-long test, and I haven't gotten the results back because I did just take that test a couple days ago. So I go to the doctor next Wednesday, and hopefully everything is fine. I don't think I have diabetes, but that's a part of the process of pregnancy. And I am very uncomfortable, so I will be discussing with him like whether or not I'm going to be put on restrictions again, or if he plans to take me off work, or when is the plan to take me off work. And hopefully we can have a conversation about a possible induction because of how fast the baby came. Every subsequent pregnancies after your first, they come faster, and because I was 10 minutes away from the hospital with Zara and almost had her in the car, it felt like I don't have time for that because I live very far from my doctor as compared to when before we moved. I haven't switched doctors, so this will be a trek trying to get to the hospital. I've been and really had the baby in the car, so I'm trying to see about scheduling a induction. He probably won't entertain that conversation. I'll gauge how we converse next week, and if it's not even anywhere near that, then I'll probably have that conversation at my next appointment. But this baby is developing well. I can feel her. I can feel all the movements. I'm very clumsy this pregnancy, so a couple weekends ago I fell down the stairs, sprained my toe, and then I'm very dizzy again. I got vertigo again, so my balance and equilibrium is off. My sciatica is still really bad, and I just am very forgetful. So as far as those symptoms are affecting me, I did end up getting COVID when I was I probably was about 20 weeks pregnant. I did get, and that was horrible because you can't take, sorry, I'm having heartburn, because you can't take all of the medicines that people typically take. So I was taking different homeopathic remedies to try to alleviate some of the adverse symptoms that I was experiencing. So nobody in the house got it but me, so I isolated myself for the 2 weeks, and I'm going to mouth it because sometimes they bleep you, but that doesn't, I'm not going to get into political anything. I am, and I still got it, so I'm a little ambivalent and on high alert about germs and everything because I really don't want to get it again, and I don't want to give it to my children, and I just don't have time for that. So I've been really cautious lately, but I'm good. I still worked throughout that time anyway because I was at home, which I should have been off because I should have got rest, and I was very tired, but I had to do what I had to do because y'all know being off for so long you don't build up any PTO. Anyways, I digress. If y'all want to see a pregnant belly of a baby number 3. So I'm a 3-time mom. Then this is what it looks like. I already have my diaper bag, as y'all can see in my last video. I'll be packing it with all the new stuff very soon, so I'll be excited to show y'all what's in my diaper bag. And I'm going to be reorganizing my diaper caddy cart that you guys seen with my last daughter. So I still have the cart. I'm going to restock it and get ready for the baby in that regard. Get her, pull out all the baby clothes that I saved from Zara, wash them again and prepare those, and hopefully we can make it at least another 12 weeks. I think I got about 14 weeks left, 13. Hopefully we can make it another 12. So here is what my belly looks like at 26.5 weeks. It's been really itchy right here, so it might be red. I might have some new stretch marks happening. Here is the front. I did have 2 piercings, which they pierced very incorrectly, so I never showed my belly when I had those anyway, so it didn't matter. Here is the other side. I am sticking out quite a bit. So yes, that's what it looked like. So I do know a couple people that's pregnant at the same time as me, due around the same time, and they're having boys. So when you carry a boy, you carry a little bit more wide, and that's how I carried my son. This one, my belly literally sticks out like an egg on its side. So that's what's happening. If y'all enjoyed this pregnancy update, give me a thumbs up. I will film my next video update about the baby for next week, and stay tuned for other mommy content on this channel. Subscribe to my channel for more, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you are notified when another video is live. Follow me on Instagram. All the information will be down in the description box, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.